Hi, so the topic of this video is linking tables. So there's a couple of things that I want to first introduce you to. Um, the first is that you can split your database. So I want to talk about that so that you have the tables um, in your database split out into a separate backend file. So that's one way. And then I also want to talk about taking tables that are in a backend file and linking them back in to your database, okay, your front end database. So those are the two things that I want to make sure to go over. And I want to make sure that I say that you can find this information in your book, okay? And it's on page 675 for those of you that have a paper copy. But if you do not have a paper copy, you can go to the front of module 12 and look at the different topics that are available to you in module 12 and find the topic linking tables between databases and click on it. And there, for a number of pages, you can read through all the way through to splitting the database. Using the database splitter. You want to read all the way through that and through, yeah, that's it. So you want to, again, you want to read linking tables and using the database splitter. So both of those topics. And so anyway, the other thing that I wanted to tell you is that I wait until the end of the semester to tell you how to do this because it involves making two files instead. Your database system have two files instead of one, which can be more confusing, especially if you're an online student trying to post your files to the discussions. So that's why I created that, or I've waited actually until later in the semester. So anyway, let's first talk about splitting the database and why you want to do that and how to do that. So the first thing that I want to tell you is the reason why. So first of all, let's say that you have a database that you've developed for a user and you've given it to the user and they're using it and they're putting in all this precious data and they've worked hours on putting this data in, and at the same time you're working on a new version for that same database and the same set of users. And let's say that you've gotten to the point where you're ready to release your new version. Well, you go and you take that new version and you wipe out the old version. Well, what's going to happen to the data in that old version? It's going to get wiped out. Well, to deal with that, what you want to do instead is have your tables in a separate file that are protected from the data being wiped out, and then have them linked to your front end database file that has all the rest of your objects in it, your queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules in them. So that's why you do this. Now, the next thing I want to show you is how to split out the database. So all you have to do to split this database so that it has a back end and a front end is you click here on Database Tools and it's definitely not fast. There, okay. Sometimes you have to click twice. Okay, and then you click on Access Database. And then from there, all you do is you click on Split Database. And it goes, and then you give a file name for it. And I'm going to put it in downloads. But you give a file name for it, and you'll notice that it usually will take the name of the file name of the database you're working in, and then just put an underscore BE as a default. Now you can give it any name you want, but this is just a suggested file name. So then after that, you can click on Split, and it goes, and then afterwards it'll say database successfully split. And so then you can say OK. Now, what I want to show you now is that here are all of these tables, but you'll notice they have arrows before them. What that means is that they're now linked tables. They're no longer in this database file. They are in a separate file. And if we go over here, we can see that here is the name of the file. And if we go back here, you can see that, you know, from where the mouse pointer is pointing, and I can't point to it because then it moves, but you can see it says C:\users and a number, and then \downloads, and then \rubric_be.accdb. And so what it's telling you is that's where the file is that holds this particular table, and that's true of this one and this one, you know, etc. So this arrow here tells you that it is linked, and then this will tell you where it is linked to. And you can have different tables linked to the same database file and from different places. So just an FYI on that. But anyway, so now you've seen how to split out your database into a back end and a front end. And once again, a back end only holds the tables, and then the front end holds queries, forms, reports, macros, and modules. So all the other objects. And again, when you go and you now with this setup where you have a back end and a front end, if you go and you make changes to the front end file, you make an upgrade to it and you wipe that out and then relink your tables, it won't affect it at all, and it won't be a problem because you won't be wiping out data. You'll just be having to relink them, the tables. So that's the first issue. The next issue is that your tables are in a backend. If you move that backend at all to any other folder, if you rename it anything, then you're going to have to relink your tables. Okay, so what I'm talking about is, let's say I rename this this file to, let's say I call it backend. Let's see, wait a minute. Let me first show you this. Let me back up here. So right now, I can double click and I can open these tables, right? Okay. So what happens if I move this file to another location? Let's say, I don't know, I'll move it to this folder, pictures. What the heck? Okay. I guess I copied it. Okay, so I just made sure that it was there, and so all right, refresh. And there it is. Okay, so I've moved it to a different folder. So now watch what happens when I try to open. It says it can't find the file. And you will have this. Let's say that you, I don't know, yeah, let's say you just moved it. This is what will happen. So then what you have to do is relink all your tables. So you'll go ahead and delete all these. I'm just selecting it. What I do is I clicked up here, held the shift key down and then clicked here. And then I can press delete. Now that does not delete the data or the tables. It deletes the links and that's it. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to relink those tables. So I can click on external data and then I can click on access. Okay, and then I can click on link the data source by, link to the data source by linking a table. And so then I'll click on browse. And then remember that file, I moved it to pictures. And so here is that file. So I'll click on it and I'll click on open. And then I'll say OK. And now what it's going to do is going to go to that file and it's going to find all of the tables. And for me, I want to select them all. I want all of them to be linked. And so I'll click on select all and then I'll say OK. And now it's going through the process of relinking all of the tables. Dun da da da, not quickly, but it is relinking all of the tables. I'll stop until it's finished. Okay, so it just finished. And once it finished, it just goes directly to this screen where it just shows you all of the tables. And now again, once again, and now you see the tables with the arrows. And if you look, you can see if underneath my mouse pointer that it says a big long list, big path name, including my pictures / rubric database _ be.accdb. And if I double click this time, I can once again, not quickly, let me try. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, not quickly. It'll go and it'll access that table and it will open the and get access to the data. And there is the data. Not exciting data, but there's the data nonetheless. Okay, so once again, linking and understanding linking, I think, is important because you don't want to wipe out your front end while you're your back end data while you're upgrading the front end. Always an important thing. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thanks.